Hi YouTube, it's been a long time and I'm happy to be talking to you guys today. I've been working on a lot of different content and material to be sharing with you guys. I just haven't been able to get on here and do it. Life, unexpected things, other projects have come up and I've really missed you guys and I really do want to be sharing more content soon. I have more on the insects, and I have my biology series I've been working on, and I have some other videos, but I had to come on YouTube today to just talk to you guys because of the insane turn of events that have been going on in the world. And there's a lot of voices out there right now. There's a lot of people talking about it, and a lot is being said. So I just sort of wanted to add a voice of reason into the mix because this is insane. This entire hoax of a virus is insane. And where are they going with this? What's actually happening? What are they doing? There's a lot of speculation, as you guys know. And so what I'm wanting to say today, it's hard to get into the subject and dig it out, but I hear a lot of course, all the people who believe that the virus is real and that everybody's life is threatened and all of that. You know, there's those voices, and they're loud and they're scared, and most people are reacting that way, and they really feel that the media is telling them they, you know, if the news report comes out and say that someone died in a hospital somewhere, everybody believes that. You know, because I think people think that the deception of things that are going on, what is on me, is, you know, just in this big upper echelon place where it's hiding and it can't be seen, and it's big and it's far away. You know, people don't understand about the reset. People don't understand that the very towns they live in were founded by these same people. We went to a pioneer museum recently down the road from here, and all of the pictures of the founding of these towns are a bunch of guys standing there in top hats in front of old architecture. And, you know, I'm all the way out here in Oregon, so this is, of course, worldwide. So nobody quite understands how deep the deception goes. You know, the general population, I know you guys do. That the deception is so large, and so that's what keeps a lot of people in the dark and keeps people thinking that the news is telling them the truth. So then you get, you know, a lot of conspiracy people talking about, oh, my favorite ones are like Trump and this whole theory about how they're making all these mass arrests and, oh, how does it go? And there's like this changing of the guard kind of a thing, and we're all going to get money now, and we're all going to have this better system and stuff that's going to come from this tearing down. And you know, I'm not buying into that either. That's not how it's going to go. These people are all part of the same thing. There could be, I will acquiesce to this, there could be an infighting within the controllers. You know, there are a bunch of bugs, there are a bunch of insects, and you've seen insect behavior your whole life. You know how they will war with each other. So there could be inner conflict that's creating this. Could be. And then you have a lot of these new age spiritual people who are coming out and just being, you know, putting the new age glossy sheen over it and saying, you know, don't worry, and it's all about your ascension, and it's all about how you're going to move into the new earth and move away from this one, and then there's all of that dialogue about it. And so what I want to say today is it is something I wanted to make another video about. That's not about this topic, but it kind of just has to be said because this is happening, is that none of that is true, and there's a sense where all things are definitely true. And this is where I feel like humanity has to start getting to this point. And it is, you know, learned through duality. So every subject is two subjects. Every subject has this side of it and this side of it. And there's this camp over here, and there's this camp over here, and there's the negative and there's the positive. And so you usually have people coming from one point or the other. You've got the people who are like scare tactics. This is the New World Order moving in. This is the loss of all of your rights, forced vaccinations, da 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 da. And then you've got these other people over here going, put a positive spin on the whole thing. We're all going to ascend, and this is all just the beginning of something wonderful. It is time, my friends. It is time to meld these two aspects together. We need to work with all of our power, with everything that we have as people. And that encompasses all of duality. So as long as we're here in the fractalized realm, which I am going to do a video on how it is fractalized and why it is fractalized and why there's a rainbow and a blue sky. I figured a lot of this stuff out. Just haven't been able to share it with you guys. I'm sorry. But so in this fractalized realm, I'm just going to try to touch on this the best I can. You know, we have duality. We have these mirror images of everything. We have so much confusion. So much confusion. So, you know, people tend to either go one way or the other. You know, very rarely do you even see anybody. And it's not just about, oh, the middle path. You know, the middle path is potentially a big zero if you look at it like that. What I'm talking about is melding the two, bringing them both together and encompassing both aspects. So you're not going to ignore the potential that the New World Order is moving in and they're going to try to force vaccinate everybody and they're going to try to do all of these horrible things. That needs to stay on the table. You know, this is the reality we are currently all in together. They have been trying to implement these things in our society for some time, and they're creating a big event about biology. This is about your personal biology, which, by the way, which I haven't quite got to in my series, is everything. That is who you are, what you are, and where you are. And if we all knew that, if we all knew the power of it, we wouldn't pay attention to stuff like this. We would know that each individual vessel is capable of what it's capable of, or will receive what we put into it. I don't even think a mass virus is biologically possible on the level that they're saying that it is. I know that's a big statement, but I truly feel that. I don't want to get off topic here. So the duality aspect. So you come to the table with knowing that all of those things are possible. All of them trying to move in, trying to take over our lives more, trying to maybe feed off of us in a different way. You know, who knows? You take the possibility of this adrenochrome stuff and how maybe they're after it in a new fashion. You know, all of these things could have some element of truth, including the fact that this is all illusory, this is all lies, this is all just BS, and it is to hide something amazing that is happening, which is the awakening of the people of Earth, which is the awakening of the true aspects of the mother, which is the body, which is where we live, the true aspects of her. Someone is really blowing up my phone, sorry. Okay. And, you know what? I want to talk to you guys, not my fucking phone. I'm going to turn that off. I should have done that to start. So you have all of these possibilities with this huge thing that they've put out right now. There's all these possibilities. There's the possibility that it's going to go this way, that it's going to go this way. But if we together can take all of those possibilities and bring them to the table, we're going to get a much clearer idea of what's happening here. We're not going to ignore vital information that we might need, nor are we going to live in fear. You know, no fear. One of the things I'm very, very certain about is their desire to separate us from each other. Now, we know this has been going on for some time because they do this through politics, right? And they do this through these different subjects where they have everyone divided and arguing and mad at each other all the time. And, you know, that's happening in my life a lot as I go out in the world and just try to talk to people. Like, nobody thinks the same thing and no one is in agreement. So they've got us already divided mentally, really strongly, right? And so now they're telling us, you know, no assembly, no one over 25 people anywhere. stay in your houses, don't go outside. So to me, this is the biggest warning thing. They don't want the people to assemble. Well, what is the age of Aquarius all about? What is it all about? It is about the people coming together without need of government, without need of an overlord, whatever you want to call them. It is about the people coming together. It is about the earth healing. It is about harmony. It's about a golden age, right? That is what is coming. So, of course, prior to this event, because we're going into Aquarius a little bit right now, but we're going to pull back out. And we're not going to really be going into it until next year. If we're still in time next year, because I'm not sure. So, or maybe that will be the event to pull us out of time. And if you don't know what I mean by that, watch my Phoenix Rising video. We don't always live in time cycles. Sometimes we live with constant light, which means time stops and there's only now. So watch that video if that sounds intriguing to you. But people assembling and people coming together is exactly where humanity's at right now. We're wanting to come together. We're wanting to collaborate with each other. We're wanting to be on the land together, to make things happen. We want to like each other. We want to be with each other. And they are doing everything they can to prevent that from happening. And, I used to see it a lot between men and women. Like, they really don't want men and women making that magic happen between each other. And I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about the creative power of those two energies put together outside of child making. They don't even want us to have lunch together. It's very divided. They keep us very separated and at odds with each other. And, a lot of us live our lives surpassing that. I'm not saying that that's everyone's experience, but I'm saying that's a divisive force that's being put out. And now they're wanting none of us to interact with each other during a time where we are coming into this age of Aquarius, right at the moment. I mean, think about this thing. We came out of that Mercury retrograde. Everything was so hard. And there was like 2 days there where things started to feel a little bit better. And then, boom, they came in with this virus stuff. I was feeling a lot of forward momentum in my life. I was feeling a lot of things shift, and I needed them to shift. And then they come with this stuff and putting everybody back into a state of fear and separation. So that is what I see is happening. They want us separated from each other and in a state of being scared. So what do we do? And, I don't know how many of us are out there anymore who have a brain in their heads, who are not mind controlled, who are not under the influence of media. I don't know how many of us are out there. But I think there's a lot of us. And I think that, I was walking in the park this morning with my friend Scott, and he's just a guy. He works at a library, and he's smart. And he even kind of thinks the virus is real. But he's like, I don't understand why the reaction is this. I don't understand why we're locking down over this. I think this is overreactive. And a lot of the things he had to say, I could tell was a person who would not comply, who would come out onto the streets and assemble with his people and not comply with this bullshit. So there are, I think, going to be surprising people who would step forward, who maybe seemed like they were in unconscious matrix land, who this actually might wake them up a little bit. And then, of course, there's these insane people who I was on Facebook and said something about, go out in the sunshine, get a lot of sunshine right now. There's a really beautiful spring weather, and, that makes everybody stronger. Viruses, cold and flu viruses, they don't live in the heat. That's why it's a seasonal winter flu. So there's that component. And people were just like attacking me, like, you stay in your house, you stupid bitch. Like, people were calling me names. You dumb woman. What are you saying? Like, mean, really mean. And I'm always just like, hey, you don't really know me, blah, 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 whatever. My comment stands. That's what I always say. My comment stands. Bye. But the attacks are really intense from the people who are frightened. So I think this is a really good weapon for them, using this virus scare, because everybody, I don't know what everyone's so scared of too. Like, you're scared to leave this reality? You want to stay? Okay, I don't really get that either. Maybe if you had young kids and stuff, I get that. I get that. You're caring, like, I'm really concerned about my dog, and what this might mean for him. Going out and walking him, getting him food. I can go for days without food. I can go 60, 90 days without eating. I'm not worried about me. But, when we do care for somebody who is helpless, that I understand people get upset about that. And that's valid. That's valid. But really, we all came here to die. This is the land of the walking dead. This is the death cycle of the body. No one's getting out of here alive. Even if there's a switchover and the fire comes and, we're in that golden place, there's going to be a big transformation from what you are now to what would live there. So you could view that as death. You could view it as life, real life, finally arriving. And my point is just that you have this fucked up, shitty world where you have overlords and you're being farmed and you're scared to die. There's a part of me that thinks that's silly. Okay, so my big point I really want to make is, do not be afraid to assemble and do not comply. If all these people would say no to shutting down their businesses and just say, no, we're not going to shut down our businesses, they wouldn't be getting away with this. It is every time, and you look at this in any situation, it is your complying, it is your acquiescing that gives them all the power. You have all the power. I have all the power. We are the creators of this. This is our thing that is being interfered with by a virus, which is sort of hilarious. And I don't know, everybody looks at this in different ways and has different words to express this. These are mine. And I honor that everybody's coming from this different viewpoint. And we have to start honoring that in each other too. You want to talk about it in a different way, but I hear you're kind of saying the same things as me. That's fine. We have to hear each other. We have to stop being like, oh, it's this way and I know it's this way. And recently somebody thought I was coming off that way on something else, and I wasn't. So we're very hard on each other right now. And oh boy, I would really love to see that just let up and take a break. But anyway, I digress. We need to come together. No more complying. No more separation. This is the moment. This is the era of us moving into a new age. And they can pull this stuff on us. They can put the fear factor out there. They can try to lock us all down in our houses. But it is our choice. It's our decision to react that way. It is our decision to not comply. It's sort of like the tax thing and other things that people have been saying for years. Well, if everybody would just quit paying these people, they wouldn't have any access to us like this. And I don't know if the general people out there are capable of this now. It seems like everybody, it seems like a lot of the population is still quite paralyzed and stunned and in what I call the deep state. It calls them the deep state, and they are the deep state. They are the bringer of the deep state. But if you believe what they're saying, you are in the deep state, and that is a biological state that you are in. And people call it sleeping or whatever, but it is an unconsciousness. And it's more than just an unconsciousness. It's a willingness to let somebody else take responsibility for not just our lives, our communities, our children, our knowledge. We have handed over ourselves, and this is the result. And it's time now. It's time to start responding differently. And that's the difference. It's not, you don't react. Everyone is reacting. You want to respond. When you're reacting to something, it's knee-jerk, it's without thought, it's certainly without heart. When you respond to something, you've given it some consideration. and you've thought about it, and then you take some kind of action, or you don't take an action. Sometimes a no action or silence is a very, very powerful tool. In fact, I think silence and ignoring is extremely powerful. You know, I think our voices and our actions are powerful completely. It's just about directing. You need places where you're going to direct words, and you need places where you direct nothing, zero. So, you know, and these aren't things we're taught. We're in this environment where we're taught math, and we're taught language, and we're taught fake science, fake nature. We don't have the basic skills to handle a lot of these situations because we are given a false education. We certainly are not taught how to take care of ourselves and each other. We're not taught how to provide for ourselves. Look at how dependent everybody is on the system. And if this goes through in some kind of way that's scarier, people are going to become even more dependent on the system. So I sort of see this as a moment where everybody has a choice to come out of that deep state a little bit. And everybody has a choice to comply or to not comply. So every day you get up during this episode, whatever is going on now, and I don't like to use the names and the words, and I'm not going to, because all language is spellcasting. And every time you speak this name and this thing, you're adding to it. So every day when you get up during this thing that's going on, you decide, you organize your day, you bring yourself to it. And whether you're angry or happy or whatever emotion you're feeling, bring it all in. We need integration. We need to bring all of it to the table. I don't want your constant positivity. It's fake. I don't want your extreme constant negativity. It's, what's the word? It's boring. Okay? We need to bring both of these things in together and integrate them. And stop beating up people for saying something that sounds negative to you, and stop with, you know, pushing away positivity because you've discovered that's kind of an empty hole. And it is. They're only going to work when they're brought together. They're only going to have impact when we bring all of it together. You know, so we know that they're trying to quarantine the entire world right now. We know that this is big controller stuff, and we know that the world is responding with compliance. So I don't know about you, but for me, this brings up a lot of stuff, both negative and positive. And when I integrate that stuff, I'll tell you, I feel empowered. I'm not, you know, you come with one of those aspects, you're going to get shot down. If you come with both, guess what? You can hear what everybody has to say. And you can understand them because you're there with all of it. You didn't come with positivity and you can't hear what the negative guy has to say because he's not being positive enough, or vice versa. It's just never going to work like that. And that's how they played us at odds all the time. I know I'm using my hands a lot. I am very animated today. So I'm hoping that this translates. Sometimes it's hard to find words for the images I have in my mind I want to share with you guys, but we have to come with all of it so that we can hear everybody and speak to them. Do you know how many people have been relieved when they came up to me? As I've said this before, I go to this dog park all the time. I'm always in this dog park. These people come up to me and they're scared of me, and they see my demeanor, and they see my smile, and they see me say, and I'll say something light, like, yeah, well, maybe it's nice out today. What are you guys up to? And try to like steer it into a more calmer thing and say, well, I don't know, have you heard that maybe this is what's going on or that's going on? And people are like relieved. They're relieved by your calm presence. They're relieved by, okay, my dog is freaking, hold on, you guys. Don't bark. Okay, come on back inside. Come on. Mommy's making a video. to make another video that talks more about this, about the integration of the positive and the negative tools, you know, to bring that into your life. And trust me, this is how we're going to move together somewhere else, is to decrease the separation first within ourselves and then in the outer world. So I just wanted to come on here today and just share my thoughts. I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all. And I'll tell you something else too. I'm not scared to leave my house. I'm not scared to assemble with you. I'm not scared to get in my car and drive somewhere. I'm not scared of the police. I'm not scared of military. I'm not scared to die. Okay? My life means something. I mean something. And whether I'm in this cell or I'm in another place in the body or I've been born into another body, however it works out, here I am, fully empowered, healthy, strong, able. I'm not scared. Don't be scared, you guys. Don't be scared of any of this stuff. Don't let it get in your head. And share that calm energy with as many people as you can. Don't hoard things. Don't respond to media. Remember who owns the media. Remember who owns all of this farm that we are on right now. And let the feeling of relaxation wash over you. And maybe there's a day where, you know, there's something scarier happening, and we'll face it together. You know, I would rather die in the streets by gunfire than be a fearful hovel of a person. I would rather be out ensuring that the truth is heard and putting myself at risk than acquiescing to these lies, these propagandas. You know, go watch Mag's Bitter Truth videos on the coronavirus, but there's actually a lot out right now by a lot of really intelligent people too. Not that Mag's not intelligent, he's totally intelligent. He speaks a certain way. I can't share him with everybody. And I love him. I love the way he talks. I love that he calls them sodomites. I don't care about any of that. But I try to ring bells for as many people as I can. Not all people can hear Mag. I just listened to a video by this older British guy talk about how fake it all is, and extremely well spoken, very good points, a great video to share. Maybe if I'll go find it again and attach it to this video. You know, there's very smart people out here talking about this, and share that information with everybody. I listened to what's that guy, the Crow House talk this morning, and you know, he had a lot of great things to say. And you know, he brought something up. He was talking about how he thinks they're trying to get rid of old people, all the boomers. And like, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to live through this year. And he doesn't even believe the virus is real. So what he thinks is it's more like a psyop to get rid of the elderly, because they have huge payouts to this generation, huge pensions, PERS, retirements, a massive amount of payout. And you know, they don't pay out. They like the pay in. So there could be something to that. There could be something to what he's saying. And when you see this whole thing happen recently with boomers, millennials, with all this shit online, I forget what it was, okay boomer and stuff, like this little war between those generations. I don't think that that's by mistake. I think that they very much want the younger generation giving no shits whatsoever about older people. And I can tell you the disconnect between generations is deeply, deeply felt by me. And I even heard he mentioned this morning they were calling it the boomer removal, that millennials were using this term. And I am saddened to see this generational division stuff that's happening. You know, it's just more division. It's more us not being able to assemble with each other. And, If you're a millennial and you're watching me, think about the mindset of your generation and stuff. And it's not your guys' fault in any way, but they have separated you deeply from your parents in a way that my generation was never. I was raised by boomers. I'm Gen X, the tiniest generation to exist. And I was very close to my parents. Very, very close to my parents. And I have not a good relationship with my mother. My mom's a super narc. But I was still very close to her for many years. I called my mother every day. I listened to my mother's advice. My daughter, she won't listen to a word I say. Nothing. She's a millennial. I had her when I was a teenager. We spent my entire youth together. You would think we would be really close. But she barely talks to me. And she's got this phone in her pocket, and she thinks that she knows everything because of that. And she thinks I know nothing because of this. So in my opinion, they have the most duped generation ever going on right now. And I know not all of you are part of being duped. I actually know many millennials that are not duped. But I think even you, a millennial watching me right now, unduped, totally understanding what's going on right now, would agree that a lot of your peers are like inside of these things. Like they're living their lives in that device. And it's not really confidence. It's like an arrogance that comes from it. It's overwhelming. And I was raised to respect my elders and to listen to them. And, I don't just respect everybody who's older, but I do if they command respect. I will listen to older people. I will let them finish talking. The older they are, the more I'm going to treat them that way. The more I respect them as just having been here a long time and lived a full life. And when you're young, you don't know what that means. And that's fine. You don't know till you get there. And to be this disrespected by an entire giant generation, I don't feel like that is on us. I don't feel like we did that to each other. This has been implemented through technology. And it is another reason why the assembly that I know needs to happen is going to be tough. It's really when we can't get online or have these devices anymore that really we're going to come together. As long as these things are here and this is how we're talking to each other, I'm afraid it's just deeper down the rabbit hole. If this stuff ever shuts off, we can really get to know each other again, have respect for each other. The younger generation can learn what happened before them, because they only reference what happened before now through this device. Sorry, this is lying to you. This is a lie machine. It is a completely false narrative that we're living under. I may be rambling because I have not done a video in so long, and there is so much to say. And I want to make more pointed videos on certain subjects, but this whole insanity has to be spoken to. You guys, we have got to push past the fear, and we have to be together. And if you're a millennial during this whole thing, think about what I said a little bit. Think about respecting your elders more and putting these phones down. And I think if you're probably watching my videos, you're probably already one of those people. But it is time. And I am concerned for older people in the sense that of this. If they come in with a vaccine, that will be the illness. That will be the virus. If you let something pass your skin, your blood-brain barrier, that's where they have you. Even their test. Don't get tested. Don't get tested for anything. Don't let them break your skin. Ever. Ever. Take herbs. Go check out Dr. Robert Morse. Eat fresh, raw foods only. Drink a lot of water. Start to understand you don't need very much food to survive in this world. And get off the the wheel that they have us all on. And we can do this. We can come together, all of the real people that are in the world, because I'll tell you, I think more than half of our population are not actually people. They're not humans. And I know that it's seen different ways by different people. People have different outlooks on what that is. I will say they're not people. Those are host bodies. Insects, lizards, snakes, whatever inside of them. And when I do my third insect video, I'm going to show a lot about more about that. I hope you guys are enjoying that because I think it's a fascinating topic. So, so much of our world isn't real. Even the people in it, it's all mirror magic, what I would call mirror magic and reflective magic. And the only reason they can do that is because of that sun shining down on us and spinning. And we are not always going to be in that light cycle. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're at the end of it. And I think everybody can feel an ending. And this is just their imposed ending. This is them imposing this fear and stuff because they know it's the end. I think it's the end for them. And that's why the escalated stuff, this is like their last adrenochrome feed. Like think of like a vampire knows he's like got 1 or 2 meals left before he's silver bulleted or however they kill those things, wooden stake. It's like that. So I think there is an amping up of fear because that is what they feed off of because it's kind of over for them. They might be wanting another mud flood. They might want another reset. They might be thinking they'll get one. They're not. Not where I'm going. There will not be another reset. And as far as I'm concerned, this cell, she's ready to be pumped back through the heart of the mother, re-oxygenated, re-enlivened, and recast into the system of timeless, golden, beautiful relationship to each other and the one within which we dwell. This is happening. This is coming. However you want to look at that. Those are my words. However it fits for you, change the words. It doesn't matter. But we got to be strong. We're not through this yet. We're not through this. So bring all your positivity. Bring all your negativity. Understand the people around you. Let people talk. And don't comply. Do not comply with any demands. Don't do it. If I suddenly disappear, it's because I was not complying. I do not intend to comply. I will not comply. And please don't comply. Don't fall for any of this. I love you guys. I'm really happy to share some time with you. I will be back soon. Promise.